In this video, I'm going to tell you about each state in the United States in just a few sentences. We're going to keep it simple and go A through Z, alright?
Ready? Go!
Alabama, one of the most southern states there is. With the most EF5 tornadoes per year, tied with Oklahoma, I already don't like it. Their old flag was really bad, but their new one is way better. They have extremely good barbecue sauce there. Alaska, cold! It really should be part of Canada, but we got it from the Russians before those Canadians could get their nice, polite hands on it. Other than that, it's by far the largest state, and they got bears, salmon, and plenty of snow. Arizona. Now right here, we have the exact opposite of Alaska. It's so hot over there. But other than scorching, melting heat, they got some cool stuff over there. Like the Grand Canyon, friendly little cactuses, the Four Corners Monument, the only place where 4 states meet. Both the Odd Ones Out and Jaden Animations are from here. Jaden Animations, more like a jihad animation. Arkansas. Yes, it's spelled Arkansas, but it's pronounced Arkansas. You have the French to blame for this. Apparently, it's actually somewhat illegal to pronounce the name incorrectly while you're in the state, but luckily I'm in Pennsylvania. Haha, can't stop me. Arkansas, Arkansas, Arkansas. No! I think they're after me! California, by far the most populated and rich state. In fact, it's even more populated than all of Canada, and it has a higher GDP than all of Canada. Their flag is a cute old bear, who's actually extinct. So, R.I.P. my dude. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light? Colorado, or Colorado, whatever. They've got a flag that looks like Pac-Man, and their capital, Denver, is known for excellent pizza. Connecticut, a very rural state in southern New England, with a lot of aquariums. I don't know what their deal with aquariums is. Their flag has grapevines and a shield on it. Pretty, grapey. Delaware, the very first state, and that's pretty much all I gotta say. They've also got a pretty cool river. George Washington went through there, if you weren't aware. And they've also got some pretty cool beaches. District of Columbia. Not really a state, sort of a weird stateless limbo zone, but it's probably more important than most states, because the Pentagon is there, the White House is there, and even though it's not even a state, it has more people living in there than even some states. Florida, often called the Sunshine State, but I like to call it the Hurricane State, or the New Reptile Republic, because it's pretty much been conquered by alligators and crocodiles. Pretty nice sun and beaches, though. Georgia, not that Georgia. It's a southern state, right above Florida, known for its oranges. So you can make some, orange juice! And its flag has gone through some things. At first it was this, which was made to memorialize the Confederates during the Civil War. Then they made some changes throughout the years, and in 1956, to preserve segregation, they stuck a big ol' Confederate X on there. And then by 2001, keeping it became too controversial, so they crapped out this abomination. So after 2 years, they finally decided to make this one, which is okay, I guess. Still better than this thing. Ugh. Hawaii. World renowned for its potatoes.
A potato flew around my room before you came, excuse.
And it has the Boys River, or should I say, Boys River. Illinois, often called the Prairie State due to its farmland and rural areas, it is mainly known for Chicago, which surprisingly isn't their capital. Their capital is Springfield, but Chicago is cool. It's got the Willis Tower. I don't like that name. Indiana, they've got a cool flag and a cool state bird, the cardinal. They've also got the Indy 500 race, which is so big it can fit the entire country of the Vatican, the Yankee Stadium, the White House, Taj Mahal, Roman Coliseum, and Liberty Island all within its walls. Iowa, it's got a cool flag with a French tricolor in the background and an eagle holding a ribbon that says, "Our liberties we prize, and our rights we will maintain." Iowa is also home to Snake Alley, the crookedest street in the world. It also has the city of Scranton, named after Scranton, Pennsylvania. But we'll get to Pennsylvania soon. Also, we've already covered Arkansas, which is Mimel the Elf's pants. And now we're done Iowa, which is his face. Oh wait, you don't know who Mimel the Elf is? I'll explain later once he's complete. Kansas, the flattest state. Some say it's even flatter than a pancake. It's most famous for Wizard of Oz, its deep western roots, and Kansas City, which actually isn't in Kansas. It's in Missouri. Kentucky, most known for Kentucky Fried Chicken, and it surprisingly stayed neutral during the Civil War, as sort of a symbolic buffer state, because Abraham Lincoln, the President of the Union, was born in Kentucky, and also Jefferson Davis, the President of the Confederacy, was born there as well. Louisiana, known for its historic importance in the Louisiana Purchase, and for New Orleans, crazy city with jazz, voodoo, and tons of different kinds of people. It's also known for its vulnerability to hurricanes, so stay safe out there, Louisianians. And with this, we now have Mimel the Elf's boots complete. Maine, known for its maritime importance, it's also the easternmost state, the only state with a name with only one syllable, Maine, and the only state to share a border with only one other state. They also have got lots and lots and lots of lobster. Maryland, or Maryland, whatever you want to say. It has an obnoxious but pretty recognizable flag. It's one of the two states that borders Washington, D.C., along with Virginia. It also has a weird shape and a cool panhandle. Massachusetts, a state in New England that's shaped like a gun, and most known for its extremely important colonial roots, with the first settlement in Plymouth Rock, which I used to call Plymouth for some reason. Anyway, there's Boston, Cape Cod, and the city of Newton, which is where the name Fig Newton comes from. Pretty cool fact, huh? Totally not boring at all. Best YouTuber ever. Michigan. Michigan is very interesting. It's the only state separated into two big parts, and they're completely cut off by the Great Lakes, which you can use to identify it on a map. They've also got Detroit. Let's not talk about that. But anyway, it's pretty much known as the Lake State. So if you like lakes, come here. Minnesota. Minnesota. It borders Canada. And while Canada is the United States hat, Minnesota is Mimel's hat. And with that, we have 4 out of 5 pieces of Mimel. And yes, if you still don't get it, I'll explain once he's complete. Anyway, Minnesota. They've got Lake Superior. It's really cold. They're pretty much Canadians up there, eh? Mississippi, known for the iconic Mississippi River, which was the home of the Native American civilization. It's also got some insane tongue twisters, like Mississippi pisses in a sippy Mississippi pissy cup, whatever. It's also the only state left with a Confederate battle flag on it. For now. Confederate flag? Oh, that's racist. Don't do that. You're a bunch of Nazis, aren't you? Go home, you racist white people. All white people are Nazis, you know that. Blah, I'm a social justice warrior. And even though I'm white, I'm still offended by the flag. Missouri, which is part of Tornado Alley, or as I like to call it, the Nightmare Tornado Death Zone, which makes it have a pretty fitting name. Missouri, Misery. And it's also Mimel's body, which means you have completed Mimel. So who or what is Mimel anyway? It's an acronym for Minnesota, Iowa, Missouri, Arkansas, Louisiana. Which acronymized is Mimel. If you look at them all on a map, it looks like an elf, with Minnesota being the hat, Iowa being the head, Missouri being the body, Arkansas being the legs, Louisiana being the feet. So any of you from any of these 5 states, they live inside a weird giant elf thing. You're welcome. Montana, a very rural state with the Rocky Mountains, Yellowstone, elk, and bison burgers, which by the way are delicious, the Glacier National Park, Mount Helena, and the fictional character Hannah Montana. Oh wait, it says right here she's from Franklin, Tennessee. I've been lied to. My whole world is a lie! Nebraska, essentially the same as every other Midwestern state, just fields, Great Plains, bison burgers, which I'm not complaining at all about, but still, it's just big old, good old Nebraska. And also, apparently, they're one of the most profane states. Come on, guys, be a little classy. You can tell it apart from other states by the part that just juts out from the rest of the state, you know, like fat belly, something, you know? Nevada, or Nevada. I prefer to say Nevada. Gambling, Lake Tahoe, Area 51, deserts, and more. It's one of the most insane states there is. You can tell where it is on the map because it's next to California. New Hampshire. According to a study, New Hampshire, Wyoming, and Vermont are the 3 most forgettable states. In fact, I forgot that New Hampshire existed when I was making this. But that doesn't matter. All that matters is where the heck is Old Hampshire. New Jersey. I actually go to New Jersey and the Jersey Shore every year. It's pretty cool. It cuts off Pennsylvania from having a water port besides Lake Erie. But essentially, New Jersey is just fun. Beaches, tropical storms, perfect for any summer vacation. New Mexico. New Mexico is pretty much the Mexico of the United States, obviously. It's the main choice for Mexicans moving into the U.S. besides Texas. There's a large Spanish-speaking community. It actually has a unique map, instead of just a boring state seal on top of a boring one-color background. And on my map, you can see it's in the sweltering hot zone. You can identify it by its weird jutting out piece right there. See it? New York. By far one of the most, if not the most, iconic states. You have the Statue of Liberty, Ellis Island, Central Park, the Empire State Building, New York City, Manhattan, the Big Apple. It's just so classic. If you want a taste of the United States, come here. North Carolina. Despite being north, it's still pretty southern. It has amazing barbecue and sauce.
Suck.
North Dakota, another state that borders Canada. And just like Minnesota, it is very Canadian, eh? It gets extremely cold up there during the winter, and they have a large Scandinavian and Nordic community. Ohio. It's just a great state. They've got great food, great flag, Cincinnati, Cleveland. They've got some YouTube celebrities over there, like this guy, and, this guy. Okay, Ohio, I take it back, you suck. Oklahoma. It's really hard to spell. Again, maybe that's just me being stupid, but still. It has an extremely long panhandle. It also has the most tornadoes, and you have 5 tornadoes of any state, tied with Alabama, as I mentioned back in Alabama's spot. The way you can identify it on the map is because it's right above Texas, and because of its pot shape. Oregon, a Midwestern state where all you need to know is forests, Portland, Salem, Bigfoot, and a lot of fog and mistiness. It's really misty over there. And also forests. Did I mention forests? There's a lot of forests. Pennsylvania. Aha! Finally, at my state. If you weren't aware, I'm from Pennsylvania, aka the best state in the whole country. I'm totally not biased at all, by the way. You've got Philadelphia, the Liberty Bell, Independence Hall, where the Declaration of Independence and Constitution were signed, Lake Erie, Pittsburgh, Amish people, horses, open, beautiful fields. It's pretty much the history state. You want American history? Come over here. Oh yeah, we also have Taylor Swift. Yeah, she's not from the South. She put on an accent. Your whole life is a lie. Rhode Island, the smallest state, and that's pretty much the main thing everyone knows. You're small, and you've got a good flag. South Carolina, just like its northern brother, they've got amazing barbecue and sauces, but they've also got by far one of the best flags in the country. Just like a palm tree and it's under the moon. South Dakota, fun fact, South Dakota is south of North Dakota. Wait, what, why is that in there? Anyway, even though South Dakota... What was that? Even though South Dakota is quite close to North Dakota, they're pretty different. Instead of frozen winters, they've got plains stretching as far as the eye can see, a sparse population, and infinite farmland. Well, they've got Mount Rushmore as well, so I'd say you're alright, South Dakota. Tennessee. Now, I'm not trying to be rude here, but the way to identify Tennessee on a map is with the help of Mimel. Because here's Mimel, and Tennessee is sort of, you know, I'm sorry to all Tennesseans I've offended. Anyway, though, Tennessee's great. I like Tennessee. Besides the fact that it's really hard to spell. Tennessee, 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 Tennessee. Do you really need that many double letters? Tennessee. So many double letters. Texas. Ah, good old Texas. Probably one of the main things you think about when you hear the word Merca. Got an amazing, iconic shape, amazing barbecue, Houston, Dallas, Austin, San Antonio. They have wonderful accents. It's got the most tornadoes a year. Not F5 tornadoes, that's still Alabama and Oklahoma. But Texas has more than 100 tornadoes a year. It's freaking Texas, boy. Utah, another Midwestern state. This one is recognizable by its piece that sticks out from the rest of the state. Like all Midwestern states, they have great food, and while they're not usually known for tornadoes, one huge one struck down downtown Salt Lake City in 1999, which is concrete proof that nowhere is safe, and even in Alaska, you cannot be saved from the evil menace of tornadoes. Vermont. I gotta feel bad for Vermont. It's one of the most forgotten states, it has one of the lowest populations, they have the lowest GDP, and it just seems neglected. But the thing is, the water is so pure up there. It's got snow and ice and hills and less tornadoes than other states. In fact, now that I think about it, I kind of want to move there right now. Virginia, a nice peaceful state. Farmland, wonderful beaches. In fact, I have a friend who's in Virginia. They have great food and, yeah, pretty much a nice, little, simple state. Perfect state if you want to move to the U.S. Washington, not to be confused with Washington, D.C. In fact, this state was going to be called Columbia, but they changed it to Washington. It wouldn't be confused with the District of Columbia. But everyone ended up calling the District of Columbia Washington, so it was pointless. Man, after seeing Washington so many times, it doesn't even feel like a word anymore. Washington. 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 Anyway, Washington is a fine state. Seattle's great. It looks really futuristic. Olympia is cool. And the way you can identify it on a map is because it's the farthest northwest of any state, besides Alaska, of course. West Virginia. Woo, we're almost done. West Virginia is another fine state. They've got mountains and trees as far as the eye can see, the Appalachians, and like all more southern states, they have great food, barbecue, sauces. It's another great state. Wisconsin. Okay, I'm sorry, Wisconsin, but I always forget about you. No, I'm sorry, don't cry. No, Wisconsin, no. Aw, sorry. Anyway, Wisconsin is another Midwestern state, and another state that borders the Great Lakes, making it the last Great Lakes state we have to cover. Ugh, what was that? Essentially, it is another cold state with ski resorts and plenty of snow. Wyoming, finally the last state, and because it's the last one I have to do, makes me like Wyoming a lot more. And I actually already like Wyoming, or as I like to call it, the wasteland state. Seriously though, there really is not many people there. At all. In fact, it's home to the smallest town in the world, Beaufort, which has a single gas station, a single post office, a single house, and a permanent population of 1 person. Maybe a couple ants. And they have beautiful, completely square borders in Yellowstone Park. I love you, Wyoming.